What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. UFC 308 has now come and gone, and Ilia Topuria is still the featherweight champion of the world after knocking out Max Holloway. And this is a big deal for a ton of reasons. First off, a lot of people were sleeping on Ilia coming into this fight. If you looked at my videos, I was backing Ilia the entire way because I do believe he is a special fighter, and he showed that on Saturday night against Max. His boxing is just too good, and he's too crisp of a striker, and he carries way too much power for anybody to deal with. Knocking out Alexander Volkanovski, knocking out Max Holloway, that is no easy task, and he showed that he is a special fighter and in a category of his own. Is he the fighter of the year? I mean, you could definitely make an argument for it. I would probably lean towards Pereira still just because of his activity, but I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to Ilia winning it either, because knocking out Volkanovski and Holloway, two guys in the pound-for-pound top 15, is something to really be proud of. Knocking out two guys in the top 15 of the pound-for-pound list makes me want to ask the question, that is he the best in the UFC? Does he deserve to be the pound-for-pound number one? And initially, you'd probably say no. That's probably either Makhachev or Pereira, and that's fair, but honestly, I do believe there is an argument for Ilia to be in that top spot. I mean, Max Holloway has been fighting for years, and the one thing that's always been on his side is his granite chin, and that's one thing fighters and people who follow the sport have praised about him, is nobody can knock this guy out. He is just too good, and his chin is just too strong. But Ilia changed that, and he showed that you can knock Max out. Or does he have the power to do so and nobody else does? Maybe that's the case. But either way, Ilia showed that it is possible, and he is the one who actually went out there and did it. And honestly, knocking out Volkanovski and Holloway means that what really is left for him at featherweight at this point? Like, you can't go and knock out both those guys and then go fight these other contenders and actually believe that these guys have a chance, because Volkanovski and Max have reigned supreme at the top of featherweight for years now. They've been dominating the division, beating everybody, and now there's a new guy that's coming to town, Ilia Topuria, and he's knocked out both of them. And he talks a lot of shit in the build-up to fights and is very confident about what he says, and that's because he's just a confident guy. I mean, he said he was going to go out there and be the first guy to knock out Max, and that's exactly what he did. So at the end of the day, it might just be confidence he has, and also a bit of fight promotion as well, as he's trying to get people hyped up for the fight. And he doesn't even need to talk on the mic, because at the end of the day, his fights show that he is a very entertaining guy. I mean, look, Alex Pereira, for example, he doesn't have to say a word in English, and people will always tune into his fights because they're that exciting. It's the same situation with Topuria now. The guy has shown that he will bring it every time he steps in there, with or without the trash talk. And I'm sure he's going to keep saying crazy shit like how he wants to fight McGregor or how he can submit Islam Makhachev, and a lot of people may call him crazy, but after that performance against Max, I don't know if I'm ever going to doubt Ilia again. And like I said, I did pick Ilia heading into this fight because I just think he is the most crisp boxer in the entirety of the UFC, but I still wasn't expecting him to finish Max. I thought he was going to win by decision, and that didn't happen. He even surprised me, and his power is just on a whole nother level to a lot of these guys, and he showed that against Max because nobody breaks Max's chin, and he was the first guy to do so. So should Ilia Topuria be at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings after knocking out two legends like that? I almost believe that he should be, honestly. I think that there's nobody in that top 15 that's beaten the caliber of fighters that Ilia Topuria just had. Finishing Volkanovski, finishing Max Holloway, that's better than anybody's resume in that top 15. You look at Islam's, you look at Alex Pereira's. I mean, both are very impressive too, don't get me wrong, but what Topuria did was just different, a different level, and in my opinion, I think he should be the pound-for-pound number one in the UFC right now, because nobody has done what he just did. Now, what is next for Ilia Topuria? After the fight against Max, we saw Volkanovski get into the cage, and we kind of agreed to a rematch right then and there, but honestly, do you guys really want to see that? I mean, I'm sure there are some people that do, but personally, I don't really think we need to be honest. I think it goes the same way as that first fight. Yes, there's questions heading into that one, like, oh, Volk was coming off of a knockout from Makhachev, stepped in there 4 months later, he came back way too soon, this, that, and that, but I mean, I don't think the outcome would have been any different had he waited a few more months. I really do think Topuria is just better than these guys, and it's just the truth. So I don't even know if I'd want to see the Volkanovski fight. I mean, I think beating Volk and Max should warrant you a chance to move up and go for double champ status, but I'm like 99.9% sure the UFC is not going to do that, and they're going to make him face another contender. So my pick is Diego Lopez. I mean, he weighed in as the backup fighter. He was ready. He was on weight. And he seems like the one that makes the most sense at this point in the division. Like, realistically, I mean, you could give it to the winner of Movsar Evloev or Aljamain Sterling, but does anybody want to see either of those guys fight for the title? I don't think so. So I think Diego Lopez is the logical answer here. He is very exciting himself, doesn't speak English, but he's a very exciting fighter. Everybody loves watching him fight, and there's a lot of people that'll be rooting for him against a guy like Topuria. It's two super exciting styles that I think would clash for an amazing fight. I think this is a fight that you could definitely do in Spain. You have a Spain card, you have Topuria and Lopez, maybe not a big arena because I don't think those are the two guys you'd put in like the Bernabeu or something like that, but you could have a fight night in Spain. You could have Topuria headline, and you could have him face Diego Lopez. Both fighters speak Spanish. That'll work well with the Spanish crowd as well. So I think it all makes sense for Diego Lopez to be the next in line. It doesn't seem like that's what the UFC is going with. Seems like they're going down the Volkanovski route, but I would love to see a fight with Diego Lopez. If I had to pick a winner for that fight, I'd probably still go Ilia Topuria. I mean, he just cracks way too hard. I think eventually he would piece Diego Lopez apart, but it all depends on that first round, because I think the key to beating Ilia is in that first round. You have to come out on the front foot. You have to be very active and want to move forward very quickly, because as the fight goes on, Topuria only gets better. And Diego Lopez is exactly that type of guy. He's all action in that first round, and he will put on the pressure against Ilia, and I think he would have the best chance at beating him. Not saying that he will, but he has the best chance. So yeah, overall, Ilia Topuria, what an incredible knockout, what a fighter, and what an opportunity he has now to go on and become a massive superstar. Like I've said, having guys like Volkanovski and Holloway on your resume, especially by KO, is massive. He could really run with this, and I think he could go on and become one of the biggest stars in the UFC today. We'll see if he does that. We'll see if he holds on to the title, but I think he will, and I'm banking that he will become one of the biggest stars. So there you guys have it. Those are my thoughts on the main event at UFC 308 between Topuria and Holloway, and also what I think should be next for Ilia Topuria. Let me know down below what you guys think. Do you agree with my opinion? Do you not agree? Let me know down below, and who do you want to see Ilia Topuria defend his title against next? Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.